Good afternoon and welcome to WP Quickies, another quickie for lunchtime. And today's topic is going to be on WooCommerce basics. And we've had quite a lot of people asking about WooCommerce, how to set it up, all the different tabs and things. So today we're going to take a little run through of WooCommerce, and hopefully that will help you guys just to get started and set up on an online store. And so hello to everyone there. Drop a note in the comments. Let me know who's on board this afternoon, and that would be great. Before we start, make sure that you click on the subscribe button down below if you're on YouTube, and ding that bell so you get notified of all the videos that we post upcoming. Okie dokie. Let's jump into it because I've got a lot to do in not a lot of time because WooCommerce is such a big product, a big setup. So let's have a look. Let's go into that one, this mode. Okay, so WooCommerce. Why WooCommerce? Well, it is over the last few years probably one of the most popular selling shops online just now. And I guess with WordPress being covering 30% of the internet now, then it's a good platform for people to quickly create a platform, a shop online, and WooCommerce seems to be one of the most popular choices. So hi to all you guys. Hi Morris, Alan, Mr. Meripus, Paul, Sasha. Hi Sasha, thanks for joining us again. Belinda and Julia, it's the regulars, the lunchtime regulars. Thanks so much for joining in. Yeah, so WooCommerce. It has now officially been bought by Automatic, the guys behind WordPress itself. I think last year they acquired it. So you got to the actual WordPress developers, core developers working on WooCommerce now. So we're going to see a tighter integration between WooCommerce and WordPress itself, which is an absolutely great thing to do. So let's jump into it. WooCommerce for beginners, for starting up. So we are currently on version 4 of WooCommerce. If you were using WooCommerce before, so version 3, it came with this little installation wizard, and it was great. It allowed you to do page setup, store location, shipping and tax, payments, and then you're ready and good to go. And it was a great little wizard. I used to use it all the time. Unfortunately, I think the revised wizard in version 4 isn't quite as good. So it does ask for store details, but then it asks for like industry. What industry are you in? And that's not a setting for WooCommerce. So here on, you can see the slide here. Tell us about your business. So what size it is, what it does, all that sort of thing. And that's information that's going back to WooCommerce.com. It's not any information that's relevant to your store settings. And again, business. So that was business details. And again, at the end, it asks for theme. And then it gives you a choice. See the choose a theme on the right-hand side there. So all themes, that's the WordPress.org repository, but then paid themes on WooCommerce.com as well. So I think this new wizard seems to be more of a selling point for WooCommerce.com rather than like a helpful store setup. So I'm quite disappointed in that. It's up to you guys if you want to run through the installation wizard. It can't hurt, I guess, but yeah, I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with sending details back to WooCommerce.com that don't have any relevance to the actual store settings. So yeah, I'm a bit against that one. So let's have a look at the manual setup for this. So I'm going to stop the screen share and I'm going to find my local machine, local copy. Here we go. Hopefully you guys can all see that. And I'll put it on high res. That should be fine like that. Okay, so I had just a local copy of WordPress here. I've got WooCommerce installed. At the moment, it's just a vanilla WordPress installation, nothing fancy in there. So I've downloaded WooCommerce, which is a free plugin. So if you just plugins and add new, type in WooCommerce, you can download it straight from within WordPress. So I'm going to activate that. So this is running WordPress 5.5 because it's not a production site. It's just a local development site. So here we go. WooCommerce has been activated. So when we do that, we can see there's 4 new admin labels down here. WooCommerce itself, 1 for products, 1 for analytics, which is all your reporting, and 1 for marketing. So what you should do after you've activated WooCommerce is go to pages and just make sure that it's created these pages for you. So cart, checkout, my account, and the shop page. Privacy policy, that's default for WordPress. So if you're going to sell things, you're obviously going to need these pages to redirect people to. So just make sure that WooCommerce has created those for you. And then you can jump straight into WooCommerce and settings. So this is where you set up your shop. Now, some of it you can set up through that little installation wizard. But I like to do this manually. I like to come in here and just go through all the different tabs and just to make sure that everything's set up properly. So the first tab we have here is general. So here is where you put in your business address. And this is quite important because this will define your geolocation, where you're selling from, and possibly your currency and your shipping and tax things as well. So you really want to make sure that you get the right country. Well, you can even choose like New South Wales is there for different tax reasons. So put in your business details here. The next one is selling locations. So you've set up your business details. That's where your business is from. But this is additional information to allow you to tell you where you can actually sell to. So you might have products that are restricted. So things like weapons, chemicals, fireworks, all that sort of stuff that you cannot sell to particular countries. So you could exclude countries here, or you can include specific countries as well. So that's selling to. The shipping locations, so actual physical locations that you want to ship to. Again, you can ship to all countries or specific countries only, or you can disable all the shipping calculations and just have a flat rate for everything. And again, customer locations, that's where you are based, so where you are selling from. So shop base address, so that will take it from the address you put in above. Or you can use a service called geolocate, which you'll need an API key. I'm not going to go into that just now. But yeah, so you can basically tell WooCommerce where you're trading from, where you're sending things out from. Hey, Jane, thanks for joining in. Okay, enable taxes. So if you're registered for GST, then you obviously definitely need to click on this, and then it'll add your GST or your tax to all your products. Coupons, that's up to you. You don't have to use coupons. Yeah, it's enabled by default. So if you don't want to have any coupons, then you can just delete that. I'll leave it on just now. And the last important part of the settings is your currency option. So what's your base currency that you're trading in? So Australian dollar, I'll click it there. And yeah, you can choose currency position in thousands and decimals. But yeah, just basically make sure you set up the proper currency and save those changes. Okay, next one is products. Products that basically ask you to put in your shop page. And so it should be pre-populated here. If not, then just pull down and choose the page that your shop page is. Enable Ajax, yep, that's cool. Placeholder image, so that is the ID number of the image you want. If you don't have any, if you have some products that don't have a featured image, it'll display this product image on its own, and you'll get the ID number from the media library. Hover over whatever thumbnail you want to use and find the ID from the top of the address bar and put it in there. And again, if you're shipping physical products, it's very important to select the weight and dimensions as well that you use for shipping, because that will go into the shipping calculator and it will calculate your costs for you. Reviews, you can choose to enable or disable views, and product ratings as well. You know, if you're not fussed about that, they're not required for setting up a WooCommerce store. So you can just leave them or disable them if you like. So as you're going along, make sure you save your changes to each tab. Now, you'll see that some of these tabs have additional settings. So have a look along the bottom of the tabs. This is general in products and general, but then there's another one for inventory. So if you want to enable stock management, SKUs, you can do that here. And downloadable products as well. So if you're selling downloads, make sure you go here and just make sure that everything is properly handled for that. Okay. Tax. So tax, of course, is very important. You want to make sure that if you are registered for GST, that you collect that and that you're abiding by your country's tax laws there. So yeah, you've got some choices with tax. I'm not going to go through all of those, but definitely if you are GST registered or tax registered in another company, make sure you go through this tab very, very carefully and set it up properly for your shipping and what you need. So you can set country codes if you're selling to different countries for the tax rates there, and make sure you get the proper tax rates in there. There's reduced rates and there's zero rates as well. So some items don't incur tax. So just make sure you have your tax set up properly. Shipping. Shipping is a pain. It's probably one of the biggest pains of people for setting up a shop that sells physical stuff, because you want to make sure you get the shipping right. So shipping is covered by zones. So you can add a shipping zone, and the zone can be, you give it a name. So just say you're shipping to Australia and New Zealand, you could go your UNZ, and then you select your actual specific region. So Australia, there we go. And you can go down to specific territories, but just say Australia and then New Zealand. So you can set up a particular shipping zone for that, save that. And then your shipping methods, then you've got like flat rate, free shipping, local pickup. And you can purchase or get plugins that extend the shipping methods and the rates. But that's a very basic shipping zone, showing you how to set that up for that. Shipping options, so there's a whole lots of options. WooCommerce itself tries to calculate all the shipping that it needs for where you're going, and that's why you need the shipping zones. So just make sure you have your shipping set up if you're doing physical products. Payments. So by default, PayPal comes with WooCommerce. You don't need any plugins, and it does have a direct bank transfer. Check, I'm not sure anyone really uses check anymore, or cash on delivery is a bit rare, but I guess, if you're selling a service, like a cleaning service or something, you could do cash on delivery, but definitely PayPal and maybe bank transfer. Now, I'm going to save that just now here, and I'm going to jump into plugins. Okay. Now, if you want to take credit cards on your website, the best way to do that is to install the WooCommerce Stripe Gateway plugin. It's totally free, and you just install it from within WordPress. I'm going to activate that just now. There we go. And I'm going to jump back into the WooCommerce settings and then back into payments where we were. Oh, bad gateway, bad gateway. Let me just refresh that. Okay, so now we can see here, same tab, a whole heap of options. So I've got Stripe, all these different ways, Stripe, but we've got a basic Stripe up here that allows you to do credit cards. So if you want to do these, you can move the preference order up the top. So just say I wanted majority of people to pay by cards. That's how I know. You enable that. And then, I want to PayPal as a backup. And okay, people can bank transfer. So that's them enabled now. That's my 3 payment options. And you can go through the setup tab, and that tells you to put in API keys and connect with PayPal and Stripe and stuff. So I'm not going to do that here, but that's basically what you do for the payment. So you could just use PayPal. That's no problem. But I think credit cards is probably going to be the more professional way to allow people to pay for things online. Okay, and we'll save that. So always save as we go along. Oh, yeah, so Stripe is almost ready to go. So it's just a reminder to set up Stripe, and that there's no SSL on this site. That's fine. It's just a test site. Get rid of those. Okay, some more stuff. Accounts and privacy. So when people are checking out, you got an option to allow them to do a guest checkout. So they just put their name and shipping address. They don't create any account on your website, and that's fine. So you can allow them to do that here. Or you can allow them to create an account during checkout. And so all that stuff is here. For guest checkouts and account checkouts, but as well, there's a whole lot of privacy stuff which is coming out of the GDPR, the European Privacy Directive that happened a couple of years ago. So you got all this stuff here about registration policy, checkout policy, and then personal data retention. So how long do you keep accounts and orders and stuff. So if you need to comply with particular country laws, then you can probably get most of it in here with the privacy, accounts and privacy tab. So I'll save that there. Emails. WooCommerce sends out a whole heap of emails, so you can see here. So new order, cancelled order, failed order, order on hold, all that sort of stuff. You really need to go through all of these and make sure that you customize them for your particular shop, your particular use case. So for example, here's a new order. So you can see you can enable and disable each notification, recipients, subject, and you've got little information that you can bring in. Put the little curly brackets, and you can bring in things like site title and order number and stuff. So you can go through those and put in that's the content here for this one. Now, if you're a theme developer or template developer, or if you want your notifications to look a little bit different than the way that WooCommerce sets it up, then you can copy that template for that particular email over into your theme, and then you yourself or a designer can modify that from the default behavior, and that's here. So you click on copy file to theme, and that will move that template file from WooCommerce into your theme or your child theme, and then you can modify that and change that without having to change the actual WooCommerce plugin itself, and it'll do a template override for those. And you can do that for all of the emails that you go along. So definitely go through all the emails, cancel the ones you don't want, and update the ones that you do want to do. Quick comment here. Alan, will PayPal allow people with a PayPal account to pay by credit card? So what's the advantage of Stripe? Okay, that's a great question, Alan. And now with PayPal, you can obviously log in with PayPal and just pay with that, and you've got your PayPal set up. But PayPal does actually allow you to take credit cards as well. So you don't have to sign in and just use your PayPal account. You can use a credit card with PayPal. So the advantage of Stripe is that Stripe has different fees than PayPal. Some of them are lower. So it depends on your throughput, how many products and how much money you're pushing through PayPal or Stripe as to where the fees lie. But you'll tend to find that Stripe has a lower fee than PayPal, and also the back end of Stripe, the dashboard, and all the options you get is far superior than PayPal. So all the analytics and the things that you can do within the Stripe dashboard itself is absolutely fantastic. And if you're doing subscriptions, well, PayPal is an absolute nightmare for subscriptions, whereas Stripe is utterly fantastic. So I would always say use Stripe over PayPal, especially with credit cards. But great question, Alan, and thank you for that. Okay, let's keep running through some of the tabs because we've not got a lot of time left. Integration, you don't need to bother about this tab for setting up your shop. It's all about this geolocation thing, about where you're shipping to, where your base is, but you can probably forget about that for setting up your shop. And advanced. So this advanced one, it allows you to set up your pages, your cart, your checkout, your account page, your terms and conditions page as well. I've not got one set up. I'll just set up a sample page there. And this option is pretty good. If you've not got your whole website moved over to SSL, obviously if you're allowing people to buy stuff online on your shop, you're going to need an SSL certificate anyway. But if you haven't moved your entire site over to SSL, then you can check here and it'll force your checkout page to use your SSL certificate. So that's an absolute must, that one there. Then checkout endpoints, you don't need to worry about these things or the count endpoints for those. Just leave them all as default and you'll be super fine with those. So I'll just save those changes because I did change the checkout. REST API. So if you've got like a mobile application that links into your shop, you can suck information out of WooCommerce and put it into there using the REST API. But in general, for setting up, you really don't need to think about that. Webhooks. So if you want to integrate your WooCommerce shop with other websites like Zapier or other applications, SaaS applications, you can create webhooks here. A webhook is, so for example, if a customer does a checkout you can add a hook onto checkout that sends information to somewhere, and then you go into another application and link it into your webhook. So maybe if you're in your CRM, your customer relationship management software like MailChimp or Drip or ActiveCampaign, they'll have an area that's called webhooks, and then you can link that to your site so that when your site does a checkout and somebody buys something, it pushes that information into your CRM so you grab all the customer's details. So yeah, have a look at that if you want to. I wouldn't bother about any of the other information under here. So yeah, so general products, tax, shipping and payments, accounts and emails. So you really want to go through all those tabs and make sure you get all that stuff set up for your online shop. So let's have a look at some of the other tabs. We've got products here. So obviously, you know, if you're creating a product, you need really to create a product. I'll just give one a test one here. So give it a title. You've got a long description here, which displays in the tab. So the WooCommerce tab for the product. I'll see if I can show you that in a minute. Product data. So you can choose a simple product, group products. If you're selling something off Amazon, you can do an affiliate product and you put in the URL for those, or variable products. So just say you've got a base product and you've got lots of different weights of that, then you can have variables, but let's just stick with a simple product just now. So within simple product, you say it's a virtual product and it gets rid of the shipping. So say click on virtual, it gets rid of shipping because you know you don't need to ship virtuals. And you can choose if it's a downloadable product as well. And here, once you click on that, you've got all the stuff to allow you to upload your downloads, so PDFs or whatever it is you're selling. But in general, you got your price, so $97 bucks. You got sale price, and whether it's taxable as well. So make sure you do that correctly for your products. Inventory. So if you've got an SKU, you can give an SKU item for an SKU name for your product. So test, that's not very good. But you know, you can manage stock quantities and stuff. So it's a full inventory management system in WooCommerce. Nothing holding back from there. Shipping. So here's where you put all your shipping details, so how much it weighs and your dimensions. You can choose. We didn't go into shipping classes, but that's more for the distribution of stuff. But here's how WooCommerce will calculate it using the weight and dimensions. Yeah, of course, you can do upsells within products and give it attributes as well. So I've not set up any attributes there, but attributes could be things like size. So just say you're selling t-shirts, screen print t-shirts. You could sell, you know, small, medium, large, you know, women's, men's, those sort of attributes there as kind of global attributes that you would set up with your product. Advanced, yeah, you probably don't need to go into that, and I'd ignore this get more options because it's just asking you to download more stuff for WooCommerce.com. So that's a general product data there. It's not too much. And at the side, you got product categories, product tags to allow people to navigate stuff. Your product image, you have one featured image that's going to display the big display, and then additional images will come in as a rotating gallery that you go through. There's also a short description here that will display next to your featured product image for that, and that's it. That's basically, it'll publish that. That's a very, very simple product for there, and you can have a look at it. Let's have a quick look at this one and see what it's like. So here we've got the title, we've got the featured image. It's picking up that default thumbnail from the settings because I haven't put a product image in there. It's got the price. It's got our right currency, which is the dollar. Here's the short description that is spelled wrongly. Then add to cart. It's showing the SKU and the category. And down below, we've got the long description. Because we didn't disable reviews, then yeah, I can leave a review for that. So that's your basic product all set up there. And within WooCommerce itself, so the products, you can set all the categories, tags, and attributes here. There's another couple of tabs here in the admin. One is analytics. So because I don't have anything in there, I've not got any sales, it's going to show up as nothing. But this is your basic dashboard you can look at all your orders and stuff from there and break it down into quarters and years and whatever. Also, you've got things like revenue, so you can calculate how much money you're making within time periods. Look at all your orders as well, all your products, coupons. You can see who's used coupons, and more importantly, taxes as well for end of year for that. Stock and downloads as well. So this is all your data down here. The marketing tab, not a big fan of this anymore. Basically, this overview is more upsells for WooCommerce.com, which I'm not a fan, but here's where you put your coupons in. So if you want to do discount coupons, this is where you put that in here. In the WooCommerce itself, I just really went into settings, but we do have things like orders. So all your orders will come in here, and you can look at the orders. If payment's been failed, you can process them. You can send an email out to people. You can send an invoice out to people manually as well. And you've got some reports in here that you can run, which is similar to the analytics, which you can export as well and put it into spreadsheets. And as well, you've got a list of customers as well, so you can see who's signing up, where they're coming from, and what they're buying. So one last thing in the settings. So we have went through the WooCommerce settings, but unfortunately, also there's some stuff in the customizer that isn't in the settings, bizarrely. So let's just have a quick look at one of the pages. Which one shall I go to check out? There we go. So I'm going to customize this. Okay, and in the customizer, you'll see there's a WooCommerce tab. So let's click on that. So from within here, we can set like an overall store notice. So just say you've got some promotion. So August promo, teas at half price. And enable that. And that's going to put a banner at the top of your website here. So it's like a banner. So you can do great promotions with that. That's good. So you don't need any additional plugins. So we can enable or disable that. Product catalog. So I've only got the one product here, but basically you can choose to show products, categories, or categories and products. We don't have any categories set up for this one, and how they should be displayed. And sorting as well. So you can do default sorting, which is your name, or by sales or average rating, or by price up and down, and how many rows and columns you want to display across. So that stuff isn't in the WooCommerce settings from the admin dashboard, so you need to come into the customizer to set those up. Product images, so you can show them as one-to-one, which is a square, or if you've got like custom ratios, you can set up a custom ratio here. And lastly, for checkout, so there's lots of checkout things you can do here. And again, this is not available in the WooCommerce settings from the dashboard, bizarrely. So here, for the billing details, you can choose whether the company name field is hidden or it's required. You might need that for your orders, so the company name here. And again, same with address line 2 and the phone. You can hide that or say if it's required. And links here to your privacy policy, which is here, and your terms and conditions here. So you can see that if you set the terms and conditions to a page, it pops up here. You've got to agree to that before you place the order. And the wording for the privacy policy and the wording for the terms and conditions. So please make sure when you're doing your WooCommerce setup that you're going into the customizer, and just make sure you get all those things done as well. A lot of people miss out on the customizer part from there. Okay, let's jump into some questions. So that's all I wanted to show. Did I want to show anything else? Yes, quickly. I know it's half past already, but let's just go back to plugins. Obviously, people here are probably selling from Australia. So there is an Australia Post WooCommerce extension. So the basic one is free, and that allows for flat rate shipping. You can buy a pro version, which gives you more options. But let's activate that. We'll jump back into WooCommerce and settings. We'll have a look at shipping. We'll go into the shipping zone and method. And now you can see, rather than those three, it's actually got Australia Post now. And we'll add that to there. So now we've got Australia Post, we can edit that. And now you've got all the different API key that goes into the Australia Post that allows you to do all the calculations. Your shop postcode, that's where you're shipping it from, all the default weights and stuff. So that could be a really fast way to allow you to get up and running with actually shipping physical products themselves using the Australia Post plugin. Okay, I'm going to stop waffling on for that now, and I'll just go back to the presentation if I can find it. Here it is. Okay, and okay. So, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty pooped. That was WooCommerce basics overview in 30 minutes. I think I got that done pretty well. Let's see if we can jump on. If you've got any questions, guys, and just add them into the comment. I'll try and go through them. Okay, let's see. Michelle, can you have a quickie on hooks one day? Yes, yeah, I can do that. That's a great idea. So I've got a little form down below the video. You'll see in the comments, there's a link to a Google form that allows you to suggest things, topics that I can do for WP Quickies. So yeah, that's a great idea. I could certainly do that. Belinda, with shipping, does it add the shipping class, something like a bulky class, to the price of the zone? Yes, it does. Yeah, so you can set up different classes. So groups of things, groups of products, groups of product categories that have a separate shipping class, and so you can group them by that as well. Dean, 2 roles, shop owner and customer, are added by default. Does Woo have a plugin to edit or add the roles? No, there's no role editor within WooCommerce. So you need to download a role editor plugin if you want to change what they have access to for that. So, no. Helen asks, any theme that you recommend, and +1 for a hooks quickie. Okay, cool. Themes, storefront seems to be a pretty popular theme for people to use, but also these plugins like Astra. Astra is pretty good for WooCommerce friendly, and also Generate Press is a pretty good blank one. And the Astra and the Generate Press, they're pretty good for page builders as well. And Elementor and Beaver Builder, they've all got WooCommerce modules that you can just drag and drop onto your pages. So yeah, definitely check out a couple of those ones. Generate Press is pretty good. It's pretty lean theme. Sasha says, when she activate WooCommerce, those pages didn't come up. Okay. You might have to go through the activation wizard, Sasha, to get that going. I thought it was on plugin activation. It should have been, but it might not. It might be on the wizard. Let me just go back into that. If you ever want to do the wizard again, you come into any of the WooCommerce ones here. Let's go into settings and see the help tab here. Pull that down, and then set up wizard from here, and then set up wizard, and it'll take you through that setup wizard again. And then at the end, it should create those files if those are missing from there. So a quick tip there for you. Good question, Sasha. Let's run through these. Nick, can you bulk import products and update prices? Yes, you can. There is an importer built into WooCommerce. However, the best way is probably to use a plugin called WP All Import, and then they've got an add-on for WooCommerce. It does cost about $100 US, but that is the utmost best way of importing lots of products, because it allows you to drag and drop fields from your CSV file onto the product and map them directly. So definitely recommend that WP All Import with their WooCommerce add-on. Otherwise, yeah, they're in the products area for WooCommerce. There's a CSV upload link at the top. you can use that, but it's not great. It's not all singing and dancing. Michelle, can you explain how to test payments? It's something called sandboxing. Yes, I can. That's a great question. Let me just, actually probably just leave it on, on this. Okay, let's get rid of this, skip setup wizard. Right here, so in WooCommerce, we'll go to settings, payments. Let's see if there's a sandbox for direct transfer. Enable, nope, there's no sandbox for that one. So let's just go back. I'll look at PayPal. Okay. If we look down, so when you're linking your payments, you'll usually have a couple of API keys that you have to put in, like a public and a secret key, and that just makes sure that it's going directly to your account and nobody knows the key, so nobody else can use it. So if we come down here for PayPal, for example, we can click on here, PayPal Sandbox from this, and then you'll need to go in here and set up a developer account. So when you log into PayPal, normally with your normal username and password, it takes you to the live version of PayPal with all your payments. What you do is when you create a developer account here, you're creating separate accounts for, and you can create a separate account for a customer and a separate account for you as the shop. And that allows you to log into PayPal with a test customer and also as a test shop. And that means when you're testing your shop online, when you've got that enabled, then when you're on your checkout page, if you want to pay by PayPal, then you just put in your test customer login details. And PayPal will do the whole payment process, but it will be within this sandbox, this testing area. So which means it's not going to take any money out of your account. But you'll be able to log in to your test account as a shop, and you'll see that the payment has been made, and WooCommerce will link it and say, yes, it's been done, so you can do the whole order process. And from a customer, you can test it from the customer point of view as well by logging into PayPal with the customer email. And then you'll be able to see the order was there, and you'll be able to receive all those emails. So make sure when you're doing your test accounts that you're creating an email address that you can have access to. There's a little trick when you're doing test accounts is that you can use your current email and then use a plus sign after your name. So just say, for example, you've got Mike at mydomain.com. You can use a test email called Mike plus customer test 1 at mydomain.com. So I posted that in the comments there, and that will then, anything after the plus, Google and most email systems ignore, and it'll go straight to your proper email address. So I do that for when I'm testing lots of accounts. I'll have Will plus test customer 1, Will plus test shop 1, and I'll use those in PayPal developer when I'm creating those accounts. So the emails flow through to my normal email address. And Stripe is very similar. So let's just go back to the payments. I'll leave that Stripe. Manage that one. And again, enable test mode. And here you go into your Stripe dashboard, you go into the developer API, and it will have the API keys you need to post into here. So you post one for the one here in test, the public key, and one for the secret key, and one for your webhooks if you're using that. And then that means that once that's done, it's linked you into the sandbox, the test area for your Stripe account. And then you can start putting payments through, and it's not going to take any money from anyone. And then when you go back into putting your shop online for good, then you just come here, you uncheck that, and then it'll ask for like the live stuff. So see here, so when you click on that, it's test, and then when you uncheck that, then you have to put in your live keys, and that links you to your live paid money account. So hopefully that will help you, Michelle. John, is it possible to have an individual use one-time only coupon? I think so. I think you can put a limit on coupons. Let's just have a quick look. Oops, I should have went to marketing coupons, create first coupon. Let's see what we got. Coupon code, OG 50%. Right, so general, discount type, percentage, let's put 50% off. Live free shipping. So you got an expiry date here. Usage restriction. So no minimum. So yes, so you can have like one time spend. Oh, that's minimum spend, isn't it? Usage limits. That's what I'm looking for. So limit per coupon. So you can have like one time per coupon. You can also limit it to the number of in the cart, and you can limit it per user as well. So you can say, okay, only one. You can say like there's 40 usages for this coupon, but just limit it to one per person, and you can expire it after a certain time as well. So yeah, you can definitely have like a one-time only coupon. Sasha. All right, well, we've done that one. That's cool. Does the Post plugin calculate the cost of shipping based on the size and weight of the package? Yes, it does. Yeah. Okay, yeah, +1 for webhooks. Okay, I really need to do webhooks. Let's see if I can round this up today, because we have used up quite a lot of time. Yep, Clarios, yeah, you can create those pages manually. In the tools tab, sorry. Yes, that's fair. There's just so much to have a look at here. Let's see, WooCommerce. So in the status here, you got a little tab called Tools. And you can do things like delete transients from the database, orphan variants. I know it may sound complicated, but that all ties up your database. Or you can regenerate product tables. Here, actually, reset capabilities. Regenerate shop thumbnails. I can't see. Oh, yes, create default WooCommerce pages. So you can create them here from the tools. So have a look at that tools one as well. It's quite useful. Oh yeah, +1 for the emails. Yeah, that's a great trick. It doesn't work with all email systems, but it definitely works with Gmail. How do you offer 10% discount when they subscribe to your newsletter? I don't think you can do that from within WooCommerce specifically, Michelle, but you could have a coupon that's 10% discount. And then when somebody subscribes to your newsletter, then you use your newsletter software, your CRM, MailChimp, or ActiveCampaign to send them an email that tells them what coupon code to use. Okay, guys. Can you print shipping label from Australia Post plugin? No, you can't, but there is a plugin. I think it's a paid plugin on WooCommerce.com. Have a look on there. They've got a whole heap of paid plugins for there, and you can definitely, there's definitely a plugin for shipping labels that allows you to do that. And I think there's also a plugin that allows you to automatically print them as well to your printer. So that's great, guys. Thanks so much for the questions. A whole heap of questions. Sorry I ran over, but you guys did have the best questions ever, which was great. So next week, I'm actually going to be continuing on the subject, doing some roundups for best plugins for WooCommerce. So I'll run through those next week if you've got some time to join me, and I'll try and keep to 30 minutes this time. Next time, sorry. And again, let me know if you've got any other topics that you want to cover. That'd be great. And get in contact with me on LinkedIn. It's probably where I'm mostly from. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Sorry I ran over a little bit by 15 minutes, but hopefully that was a good intro to WooCommerce. And yeah, I shall see you guys next week. Thank you so much. Ciao. Take care. Keep safe. Wash your hands.